and we're looking at the last about 7 hours here of solar activity. This is 171 angstroms view. There is an active region right here. A little bit of magnetic activity happening there. No sunspots. Let me show you some more views, and we'll continue on with the space weather. And here's a 193 angstroms view. Another coronal hole forming there south of the equator. And let's do another view here. We're going to zoom way in on the colored magnetogram and take a look at that active region. Again, right here, we were looking at this for a couple days on the magnetometers. So a little bit of magnetic complexity up here north of the equator also. And we're not even going to call that a plage yet. We're just going to move on to more stuff. Now, here's the cycle 24 progress. We are back to solar minimum conditions, folks, although we are back up to a 68 solar flux units on the 10.7 centimeter radial flux, as we were pegged at 67 there for quite a while. And that's some very low activity. Real-time solar wind showing us a phi angle of 170. Looks like a coronal hole connection just established to that coronal hole just to the south of the equator. Solar wind density quite low. Not as low as it had been, about 5 protons per cubic centimeter there. And we see a sputtering of the solar wind velocity, currently around 350 kilometers per second. There's the data from ACE. Next we'll do a cosmic ray rundown here. Here's Apatity. And there's Barentsburg. Here's the Athens neutron monitor. Here's Mexico City. Next we'll show you Moscow. There's the Moscow neutron monitor. And finally here's Oulu, Finland. Here's DOMC Antarctica. And there's DOMB Antarctica. Looks like a little missing data there. Probably frozen people. Here's where things like planets are. And there's where they'll be in 1 week. Perhaps go to in-the-sky.org. Make yourself a sky map. See what's going on above your head as the moon is near its apex. Right now above mine. And Cygnus is setting. Do you know what Deneb is? We're not going to talk about it today. Here's a view from stereo A as Mercury swings out from behind the obscurement disk. Not a lot going on in the stereo A portion of space. Next we'll show you Magnetosphere movies. Here's the density. We'll let that play through and archive 4 hours of data once again. And we'll also show you the pressure. And let's get a little closer to home. We'll look at Geospace Ground magnetic perturbations here. We see some kind of odd motions here, really. Mainly over the Siberian North Pole. I'm sorry, the Canadian North Pole. And the South Pole keeps creeping into the Indian Ocean. Check out smAsho.com/forum/mission and share with your friends and your foes what our mission is. Also, please support the channel via Patreon. And thanks to our patrons, Patreon is our main source of income since YouTube pays us precisely nothing to make these videos. Also check our Hemp Lucid campaign, the spaced out campaign specifically formulated for our spaced out viewers. We got sales on Kalki going on. We've got wax, we've got lip balm, we've got body butter, we've got a sale going on whole plant CBD hemp seed oil extract. Again, check it out. It'll be linked below the video. The spaced out campaign at hemplucid.com. Also follow us on Facebook if you like, facebook.com/smAsho. Also on Gab, we are there as well. We're also on Twitter. If you find it easier to share our videos with your friends that way, please do. Also on Minds.com, minds.com/smAsho. Minds.com, the future of social media, as we approach 500,000 views with only 702 subscribers. Minds.com, the open source social media that will not censor you. If you enjoy the original music, such as the song that was just playing, that's Gem Cutter, and it's located at soundclick.com/GoldenCat Productions. Go back to space data. We're looking at the X-ray flux, which is totally flatlined. Again, we haven't seen a B-class X-ray flare since July 7th. KP index has settled down to 2. It was up to 3 there briefly, expecting this to drop back down as the solar disk is really just dominated by coronal holes. Electron flux has dipped down, probably near its lows right now, although there is a coronal hole wind stream on the way. Here are the auroras, Borealis on the left and Australis on the right. And here's the movie of the F2 ionosphere layer. We've zoomed that out enough so you can see the timestamps. We see some discharge moments there over the right near the northern hemisphere, the Canadian North Pole there. And ionosphere was looking pretty charged, and now it's looking quite normal here, both on the nighttime and daytime side, except for this little area up here. As it is summertime up there, and it's pretty discharged on that side. There's the GOES magnetometer, still looking choppy, no surprise. Next we'll look at the Gong 2. And you can see that region around where that little bit of activity is. I've been looking at that for a couple days and anticipating that a sunspot could be forming. So you probably heard it here first. Please leave a comment if you did. Earthquake rundown coming up. First of all, we see a 4.6 in the Solomon Islands, 4.5 in Indonesia, 4.3 at Chile. Here's a 4.8 at Nicaragua, 4.8 at Indonesia. Here's a 4.5 at Indonesia, 4.3 at Alaska, in the high part of the Aleutian Islands. Chinese quake here at a 4.3. A deep quake at Italy heads up Italians for a larger quake at the surface. That one's over 280 kilometers deep. 4.8 at New Zealand, up in that rift located northeast of the North Island. Here's a 5.0 at Japan, a 4.3 at Japan. That one's at extreme depth, 244 kilometers. Here's a 4.3 at Kazakhstan. 4.5 at the Northern Mariana Islands. 4.6 at Bolivia. That one is at extreme depth, the deepest quake I've seen, I think, ever in South America. This one, 564 kilometers. Heads up western South America for a larger quake. We've been seeing deep quakes there for weeks. And there's a magnitude 6 and 7 earthquake drought. And guess how those end, folks? With earthquakes. Here's a 5.3 at Burma. Do you call it Burma or do you call it Myanmar? If Jay Peterman, if you're watching, please leave a comment. Here's a 4.7 also at Burma. 5.0 at Taiwan. Shout out to David Devine. If you felt that quake, please leave a comment. Here's a 4.5 in Indonesia, a 4.9 at India, and a 4.6 at Indonesia just coming in while we did show prep. Volcano rundown. We've got Tucono. We've got Sangay, Revenador. Sabancaya still exploding, producing a 24,000-foot ash plume. And Nevados de Chilean, possible puff emission. Please do not pole vault Nevados de Chilean in central Chile. Here are the pressure maps, courtesy windy.com. We'll let that animate here for about 1 day. And if you see anomalous low pressure systems over your location and you've experienced deep earthquakes there, please be on an extra high alert for earthquakes for that reason. Here's the jet streams. This is the western portion of the planet. We see extreme meridional flow here in the north, as well as very powerful jet streams, including some oddities and all kinds of convective forces in the south. Here's the eastern world. We'll let that animate. Again, extreme meridional jet stream flow here, both sides of the planet, northern and southern hemisphere. Moving on. And we've got extreme weather right now in the central U.S. Places like Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Kansas, and some of Missouri. And there's even a strong storm in southern Oklahoma there. Extreme storms. If you're in the crosshairs of these, please be prepared. And here's that system over the central U.S. here. We see these storms cannibalizing each other, and they're going to be stalled here by this massive air. You see this dry air in this area. That air is much more massive. Dry air is more massive than wet air, folks, if you weren't aware. It's kind of important to understand. Anyway, there's those storms in the central U.S. looking nasty. Let's animate the whole map. And there's the water vapor situation over the U.S. Were you aware that Elon Musk wants to nuke Mars? Well, there's a lot of resources being wasted on our planet right now, and Elon, who is very unwise, childish, and inane about certain things like space exploration, he's not kidding, folks. He wants to nuke Mars. He thinks he can terraform Mars by nuking it, creating a greenhouse effect that raises the temperature and air pressure of the planet, melting the poles, yada, yada, yada. It's a dumb idea. Good job, Elon. Now, if you were a patron, you would have seen this yesterday, because we release early stuff to our patrons regularly. So check out patreon.com/smashomash. And even if you refuse to pay us anything, you will still see some stuff without even being a patron. And we've come full circle, folks. We're back to looking at the sun here. We're looking at 94 angstroms. We're going to zoom in on that active region, and then we're going to call it a day. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the videos if you haven't done so with our channel yet. Press that notification bell so you see the updates as we put up community posts regularly, sharing the videos that we watch. Now remember, when you're staring at the sun, folks, don't drink it. If you drink, stare at the sun anyway. Just don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.